There are places in the world that don't just invite you to visit, they challenge you to come and feel. And Norway is one of them. A land where the road clings to mountainsides, where fjords carve deep into the earth, and where the sky feels just close enough to touch. This isn't just a motorcycle trip, it's a journey through wild landscapes and quiet moments, through tunnels carved by men and silence carved by time. It's the sound of the engine echoing off stone walls, and the feeling of being completely, gloriously alive. Every day brought something new, not just in scenery, but in soul. So come with me as I ride across one of the most breathtaking countries on earth. Day by day, kilometer by kilometer, Norway, through my eyes and under my wheels. Day 1, Stockholm to Oslo. I started around 9 am, traveling light with just clothes, tools, food, and water. The Ducati covered the 500 kilometers effortlessly, high RPMs humming, wind in my face, and mind on the road. I reached the Sweden-Norway border in just over 5 hours under a hot blazing sun, with both countries seeing some of the highest temperatures of the year that week. By evening, Oslo had welcomed me. I met my riding buddy for cocktails, a relaxed dinner, and a superb start to the adventure ahead. Day 2, Oslo to Rjukan. Atle, Jon Erik, and I rode to the Lunde Sluice in the village of Lunde, which is a key lock along Norway's historic Telemark Canal. The single-chamber lock lifts boats 3 meters in about 15 minutes, allowing the traffic to pass smoothly. Nearby is the charming cafe, which offers great food and the great view of the lock and canal. And the surrounding park provides perfect spot to relax, take a picnic, and just enjoy the scenery. The small tank on my Ducati meant frequent pauses to refuel. Chasing 98 octane wasn't always easy, but each stop became part of the rhythm of the ride. These breaks were never a burden, just moments to rest, to breathe, and to take the day in before the engine stirred again and we went ahead enjoying the day. For me, it's just not about reaching the top. It's about the mountain roads that wind there up there, taking you closer to these sleeping giants. Toppen was the first true pass of the trip, a quiet colossus rising above the ride. Each curve took me higher, reminding me that the freedom isn't found at the top, but in the road that takes you there.
This is Fjords, where they used to make heavy bolters during the World War II. It's famous from many movies and television series. First one was with Kirk Douglas in 50s and 60s called Heroes of Telemark.
Heroes of
Telemark, yeah. And there was another series made several of the last 20 years. And there was 100, I think, even more bombers from English American coming down the valley trying to bomb the factory. But the most famous was the sabotage. They managed to sneak their way in, blew up the factory, and get out without a single person getting killed.
Wow.
Famous to be one of the most...
And this was during the World War II.
So famous as one of the most successful sabotages during World War II.
Thanks.
Rjukan is a town cradled so deep in the valley that in winters the sun never touches its streets. But this is Norway, where people find a way to meet the nature on its own terms. High on the mountain sides, mirrors now catch the sunlight and send it down into the square. Standing there, you feel how even in the land of long shadows, Norwegians find a way to bring the light back home. We ended the day at Gaustablik Field Resort, resting in the shadows of Gaustatoppen. After hours on these amazing roads, it felt like just the perfect place to slow down. Mountain air and good chilled beer is all we needed. Day 3, Rjukan to Sirdal. Today was going to be an unforgettable ride through Lissebotn along the Lissevägen, one of Norway's most spectacular mountain roads. We paused in a charming village along the way to savor a quiet breakfast. Even on a motorcycle, there is a charm in slowing down. It's in the small pauses, watching the world go by, people enjoying what they love, simple moments of happiness that you share with everybody on the road. As the day wound down, we rode towards our destination, taking in the time to soak in the views and the quiet moments along the road. The mountains, the valleys, and the little villages we passed, they all felt like part of the journey, not just stops along the way. It was moments like these that remind you that riding isn't just about covering miles. It's also about noticing the world as it passes by, feeling the wind, and appreciating the small joys along the road. By the time we arrived, it felt good to pause, breathe, and let the experiences of the day settle in. A gentle reminder that the journey itself is its own reward. Day 3, Sirdal, Beyondal. As we started yet another amazing day, it began with a short ferry ride, the boat gliding over the fjord like a prelude to the roads ahead. Riding the water feels different, calm, yet alive, a reminder that the journey isn't always on asphalt, and that the motion itself can be meditative. Once back on two wheels, the road stretched ahead like a ribbon through the mountains. We passed quiet valleys, rushing streams, and charming villages tucked between peaks, each stop offering a glimpse of the life of the beaten track. Riding through Yondau, the elements draw you closer, and the weather plays its role, reminding you that on a motorcycle, you're not just passing through the landscape, you're part of it. And after a long, memorable day of riding through some of the most picturesque parts of the world, we said goodnight as we settled into our stay, a charming house in a quiet village. Day 4, Yundal to Firday. We began the day with a tranquil ferry ride from Yundal, the water reflecting the morning light as we glided across. From there, the road hugged the shores of Fjord, Norway's longest and deepest fjord, winding through dramatic cliffs and mirrored waters. As the mountains rose sharply on either side, waterfalls tumbling into the fjords below, while quiet villages and hidden coves peeked out along the route. Every turn revealed a new perspective, reminding us that the journey itself is as breathtaking as the destinations that await. Day 5, Fjords Delosta. We left Fjords behind and followed roads that twisted through the heart of Fjord, where mountains, valleys, and rivers weave together in a landscape that feels untouched. Plans shifted as the road unfolded, and along the way, we made a few adjustments. Instead of the direct route, we let the ride guide us, and it brought us to Ålesund. Perched on islands and framed by the city welcomed us with its Art Nouveau charm, proving that sometimes the unplanned turns lead to the best discoveries. And as the day winds down, the bikes are parked, and you're sitting with your friends, sharing stories over cold beer. You know it has been a day well spent on the road. Day 6, Örsta to Sandalsöra. This was the day we'd been waiting for, the best day of the entire trip. We rolled out of Örsta with the road treating us through valleys and towering peaks before arriving at Norway's most iconic stretch of tarmac, Trollstigen. Trollstigen is Norway's road of legends. 11 sharp bends coil up the mountainside, as if carved by giants into the living rock. Waterfalls crash down the mountainside, their mist drifting like ancient whispers. Riding here isn't just a climb, it's an encounter with nature's power and a test of focus and spirit. A road so adventurous as if the trolls made it for the bikers. The ride to Giringa Fjord was one of those stretches where the road itself felt like a reward. Winding through mountain passes and valleys, it eventually opened up to the fjord, a place where you can't help but slow down and take it all in. And yet another day comes to a close, leaving behind all the great memories that will live on in countless conversations to come. Day 7, Sundalsara to Jotunheimen. Jotunheimen, the land of giants. Here the mountains rise like ancient guardians, shaped by legend and time. Riding these roads, it's easy to imagine the old Norse stories of trolls and giants watching from the cliffs. Each curve felt like stepping deeper into Norway's mythology, with the Ducati carrying me through the world when nature still feels alive with old magic. Day 8, Jotunheimen to Ringebu. Day 8 began with one of Norway's hidden gems, the Tindevägen, or the Road of the Peaks. Riding through it, much of the road was wrapped in mist and fog, giving the mountains an almost otherworldly feel, as if the giants of old were still hiding in the clouds. Every climb and descent carried us deeper into Jotunheimen's quiet power. From there, the ride opened into softer valleys, eventually leading us towards Ringebu, a day that shifted from mystery to calm, from mountain drama to countryside ease. Somewhere off the beaten track, we stumbled upon a hidden gem of a cafe, run by local volunteers and tucked away in a place few would ever visit. The pace was unhurried and the coffee was fresh. It was the kind of stop that reminds you why it's worth leaving the main road behind and why it's worth exploring. And little did we know this would be our last good cafe stop as the rain was upon us. Day 9, Ringebu to Rörus. It was a wet, rainy day and I had phone charging troubles, so I was not able to take a lot of photos or videos. But what I have are a lot of good memories still. Day 10, Rörus to Stockholm. The final day of the journey greeted us with rain, mist, and challenges that reminded us that adventure isn't always perfect, it's real. Atle and Jon Erik decided to go to Oslo, while I was going to go home to Stockholm. As the engines quieted and the journey came to an end, there was a quiet triumph in knowing we had ridden through mountains, fjords, and valleys, chased the sun and the mist, and collected memories that will stay with us forever. This was more than just a trip, it was a story written on the asphalt, carried in the wind, and etched into the soul of Norway.